Well, knowing that I would be offering the homily this morning when I packed for my retreat last week, I included my computer and several resource books so that I could work on the homily during my time at the Glastonbury Abbey in Hingham, Massachusetts. Following my old Girl Scout motto, be prepared, which, by the way, is a main message of today's gospel, my bags were several pounds heavier than they would have been otherwise. Well, very early in the retreat, I read the scriptures for today and checked one of my usual sources on the computer to gain some insight into what I might offer. The next day, as I was walking on the beautifully wooded grounds of the Abbey, I started thinking about how I should get back to my room and my computer and prepare the homily. As I was about to turn around, a quiet voice spoke to my heart. My dear Jane, this retreat is for you. This is a time for you and I to be together, to listen to each other, to deepen our relationship, to pray, to refresh and renew. The homily can wait. I recalled a verse from today's psalm. May your kindness, O God, be upon us who have put our hope in you. And I continued on my meditative walk. Well, when I got home, refreshed and renewed, and I sat down to prepare the homily, it was clear to me what the theme would be. Faith. And the focus would be on the second reading from Hebrews, which Connie read for us so very beautifully this morning. Scripture scholars generally agree that what we have called a letter to the Hebrews was actually a very long sermon, which was written and delivered by someone other than Paul. The style, language, and ideas differ so markedly from those of Paul's writings that it must have been written by someone else. Yet, as with all scripture, it is not the author, but the message that matters. Scripture is gifted to us, a means to help us reflect on the meaning of God's love and how that affects our lives and our faith. There's that word again, faith. The scripture writer describes it as the realization of what is hoped for and evidence of things not seen. Well, I personally was looking for something a little bit more concrete. So where did I go? The ultimate source. I asked Siri for a definition. And Siri's reply was, faith is complete trust or confidence in someone or something. That really blew my mind. Complete trust. In this small section of chapter 11, the phrase by faith is used 4 different times to explain why people acted the way they did. By faith, Abraham and Sarah obeyed when they were called to go out. They went out not knowing where they were to go. Well, they left the country of Ur, the familiar land of their ancestors, leaving behind their family, their friends, their very security. Well, how many times have we been called to go out, to step outside of our comfort zone, to follow a path whose end we cannot know? Yet our faith in our loving God enables us to take that step, trusting that our God will guide us. By faith, they sojourned in the promised land as in a foreign country. They dwelt in tents looking forward to the more stable foundations promised by God. How many times have we found ourselves in a holding pattern, not quite knowing what comes next? Yet our faith in our loving God assures us that God's plan for us will be revealed. By faith, Sarah received the ability to conceive, for she believed that the one who had made the promise was worthy of trust? How many times have we been called upon to do the inconceivable? Yet our faith in our loving God helps us to believe that nothing is impossible for God. By faith, Abraham, when put to the test, was willing to offer up Isaac because he reasoned that God could raise even from the dead. How many times in our lives have we had to bid farewell to loved ones who were departing from this life? Yet our faith in our loving God helps us to believe that God does indeed raise from the dead, bringing them to the fullness of life and peace with God. The passage suggests that if Sarah and Abraham had been thinking of the land from which they had come, they would have had the opportunity to return, but they were searching for a better country, a heavenly one. So here we are, somewhere along the lifeline of our earthly journeys. We can look back at the what ifs and the if onlys, or we can, with faith in our loving God, embrace the road that we are on, continues to step forward in faith, and also to look for ways to help others along their journeys. Well, may our loving God strengthen our faith, believing that God faithfully walks with us as we continue on our journeys.